everyone, it's Tammy and welcome to the third card of our birthday delivery card series. This is such a beautiful card set or stamp set. I just absolutely love it. It's new from the Stampin' Up! Annual catalog and it is just adorable. The stamp set itself contains 2 sets of stamps, and then you can get a bundle with die cuts that perfectly match it and designer series paper that also perfectly matches it and is just the prettiest I think I've ever seen. I love these papers. They're just absolutely gorgeous. I guess I should do the same one twice. But I have a hard time using the paper. I'm struggling even now because it's so stinking cute. But on the other hand, once I use it, it'll be gone. But I'm gonna maybe use some. We'll see. I think that first, for this particular card, I am going to do kind of a tutorial on a lever card. At least that's what I think it's called. And I found this tutorial on a place called Split Coast Stampers. And this is a rabbit hole if you guys haven't been there. I have been on this site for years and years. But they do a lot of Stampin' Up! Stamps. They do a lot of every kind of stamps. I'm not going to even... Used to be just Stampin' Up! But so there's lots of old historical stamps. And if you have an old historical stamp and you want to see ideas from it, you could type in a stamp name such as Stipple Celebrations, one of our old sets, and you would be able to find ideas that people have done with that particular stamp set. So it's a great resource if you guys haven't heard of it. Again, it is called Split Coast Stampers, and whenever I need a new card idea or card design or something like that, I will often go there for tutorials because the tutorials are done by everyday people and they seem to be right up my alley. So I found this lever card, and I have made one in the past, but I could not remember for the life of me how to do it, but it looks like this. It starts out like this, and then it opens up and this little tab sticks out. And I did it in Whisper White, but I really want at least the inside to be Blushing Bride. So I have a piece of Blushing Bride that's cut at 5.5 by 8.5. So I want to go ahead and use this for the inside of this particular card. I think that this outside of the card, you can pretty much figure out what I did. I just cut a piece of 5.5 by 8.5 and scored it at 4 1/4, and then I cut a window out that is 1 inch from each side. So I just did that using my Stampin' Up! Cutter and my Whisper White. So this is what I'm left with. Do not throw this away because this, especially if you're using Whisper White, is what I'm going to use to do my stamping and coloring. So I'm going to use the Stampin' Up! Inks to color this, and I'm going to do that in a second or in a minute after I've taught you guys and have redone my inside so that it's pink and not white. Now, one thing that I did when I was practicing, I was just trying to make sure I knew how to do this. I scored, if you can see this score line all the way through here, that is a boo-boo. I do not really want to do that on my next one. So I thought something that might be helpful for me anyway would be to put these 2 together. Let me just move that. And with a pencil, I am going to lightly draw my box in here. And I think it will be helpful to draw the whole box. I think. So that will help me. Okay, so there is that. So then what I need to do is I need to score this piece of cardstock. So I'm going to score it first at 4 1/4 right down the middle. Score. Use your scoring blade. And then I want to score it at 2 1/8 on from each end. So 2 1/8 on my Stampin' Up's cutter is right here, and I'm just going to score there. And then I'm going to take it and move it over to the other side and go to 2 1/8 again, but this is the side that has my box in it. And you can see I don't want to score over the part that's in the middle. I just want to score up to that pencil line that I made. So I'm going to score to there. Oops, I went a little further, but that's okay. I got a little crazy. And then I'm going to lift my blade up a little bit, move it all the way down. I don't know if you saw that. It's kind of a quick action. Move it up like this, bring it down, and then score again to the score line. Now I need to cut this part out. You can do that however works for you. For me, the best way to do it is to line it up in my cutter and get it right where I want it. And then I take my blade and I put that where I want it. Oops, that's the scoring blade. Good grief, Tammy. Take the cutting blade, poke it in, and then take it right to that line. And you can see it cuts it right on that line. And then I also want to cut it, but I only want to cut it to this score mark. So I don't want to cut it all the way out. I'm just cutting it to this score mark. So I need to line up this cut with the middle of my blade so I know where it's going to cut, and then I push my blade in and cut it just to that score line. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and I'm going to do it this way, because that way I can see it better. Put that right in the middle. And go to the score line. And then now I have it so that it comes out like this. So now you just need to fold this. And I cut this, I don't know if you can see, it's a little bit past the line. That might be a problem because I might not be able to, it might not push through this. We'll have to play with it. If it does, I can take scissors. Let me just show you what I would do if that happens. I would just take my scissors and snip a very small amount, like 1/8 of an inch off. And I would do the same thing to this side. Hold on just a second. Okay, my son and I were just talking, so I had to pause it for a second, but so I just cut up, and then you can see I cut just a little slither off. I haven't done this end yet. I was going to do that with you so that you could see that. Just a little slither. And then just pop it off like that. So that now I believe it should fit through okay. I might even want to do it on this one because see how it's like kind of tight. But we'll check that out first before I do it. So now what I want to do is I can erase this, or I can make that the inside, so then I won't even have to worry about it. So that's what I'm going to do. So I know that if this is, if I want this to be the inside, this middle fold needs to pop out. So I need to fold it this way. I'm going to take my bone folder to crisp up the edge. And then I'm going to take this one and fold it back onto this side. And then I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing. They call these mountain and valley folds. So when you open it up, this one is a mountain fold, and then these two are valley folds. Now this is going to go inside the card like this. And I want to line up this edge to this, and this edge to this. And I'm just going to play with it for just a second just to see how it's looking. Looks like I was off a little bit on my fold. Story of my life. So we're gonna just make it work by doing what we can do here. I want to push this back just a hair. Okay, see when I have this where I want it, I can see a little strip of pink right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let me take a piece of white or a different color here. See how this, you don't want to see that. You want that gone. So I'm going to take my pencil again, and that's just because I miscalculated or misfolded something. I don't know how, and honestly, I don't care at this point. I mean, what's done is done. I've already done it, so I may as well just work with it now. So this is crafting in real life, guys. This is how I do it. This is what happens. Sometimes you get it completely done right, and sometimes you don't. You don't have to start all over and waste your paper. I know that paper can be expensive. I know it's just paper, but our paper isn't cheap. Stampin' Up! Paper is not cheap. And heck, paper at Hobby Lobby isn't always cheap. And even if it is cheap, it doesn't mean you want to waste it, so I get it. So I'm just going in here with my scissors, and I am going to trim this little piece off. And I could use my trimmer for this as well, but I think I can get an okay straight line without it, so I just did it myself. So now we'll put this in here again as though, and we're going to pretend to open it. Well, not pretend. And it's still getting caught a little bit on the bottom. Just a hair on the bottom, so I'm going to cut off just a smidgen and more. It might need a little smidge at the top too, but I'm just going to do it. I was going to say I was going to wait until I started it, but why? Just go ahead and do it. It's not going to hurt anything if it's a little smaller, and I'd rather be safe than sorry. So there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ATG tape, and I'm going to put it several times around here, because a little more than I normally would, just because I know that this is going to be played with a little more, just because it's a fun fold card, and usually those are. So I want to make sure that this thing sticks. If you wanted to use glue or whatever your favorite adhesive is, make it a strong adhesive. And then this is going to line up with that. Just like that. And then I'm just going to open it up, and there we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up again, and I'm going to do this edge really well with my tape as well. And you could use snail, you could use fast fuse, you could use glue, you could use, oh, what's the other thing called? Tear and tape. That's probably a really good option. I didn't even think of that one until just now. So I have that all down, and then what I'm going to do is fold this as though I were folding the card, and then I'm just going to put this right down on top of it. And any of this pink that shows through, you can easily get this tape off just by doing that. Now, when I open my card, it's still stick. Oh, now it's good. Once it's out, it's fine. So it will go like this. It's not going to fold completely down, but that's okay. I mean, when you have the card, it's, in my opinion, this is perfect. So then I'm going to take that piece of white cardstock, and this is going to fit on here, but I want it to fit on here. Like, I want it to be layered on here. So I'm going to trim it 1/4 of an inch on the sides. So let's do 1/4 of an inch on this side, and 1/4 inch on this side. And see how that looks. Yes, I think that looks fabulous. Now I can even see some of my pink on this window. If I want to be a perfectionist and cut that off, you certainly can. I didn't do a great job of snipping apparently. It honestly doesn't bug me that much, but I want it to look good since I'm trying to teach you guys something. So let me just go ahead and trim this. And because I folded it bad, there's going to be a strip of white right here showing through. I'm not going to even care about that. I bet your recipient won't even notice or will think it was supposed to be there. They won't have any care at all that it's there. So neither will I. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is let's start decorating. I'm going to stamp this, and I think I'm going to use the fox, as long as he'll fit on here, and he will. And I'm going to use my Memento ink and my Stampin' scrub and my Stampin' block. And just push them right down on here. And he has lots of going on. He has lots of whiskers and such, so I'm just trying to make sure that I get it all by pushing really well. Oh, it's such a cute stamp. And I sure hope I can do it justice by cleaning it, or by coloring it well. I'm cleaning the stamp off on my Stampin' scrub. And then I just leave that block in there so that I always know it's there. And I'm going to color him. And I'm using our Stampin' Right markers. I'm going to get out a piece of the Designer Series paper so that I can see how he's colored in here. And maybe I'll try to follow something similar. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. I know I want his overalls blue. I'm kind of thinking I might want them in that indigo blue though. Island indigo. So this might be a little brighter blue than what he is on the paper, but that's okay. Now these markers are not alcohol markers, but you can do a little bit of blending with these. But I am not a master at these for sure. But I love them because they're so vibrant and they put off just the right amount of ink with each color, or with each stroke. We also have our blending pens that you could use to try to get a little fancy if you wanted to. I am not going to do that today. I will go in where the stripes are, or where I know it would be a little darker, and I'm going to just color it a second time, just a little darker there. All right. See how you can kind of make it look a little shaded? Hopefully you can see that okay. And then I want to use, oh, is this it? Yes. Cherry Cobbler for his little bandana thing. I love the color Cherry Cobbler. And it's a really dark color on its own, but I'm going to still go in and highlight the areas that I think should be a little darker. And then as a fox, I think I'm going to use whatever color this is. What is this? Is this Pumpkin Pie, or this is Tangerine Tango. I might even combine this Calypso Coral. This one must be Pumpkin Pie, yes. And then this one is Peekaboo Peach, I think, yes. So I might kind of combine some of these colors. Maybe do his mouth or snout and the bottoms of his feet. And his hands. Looks like he has a shirt on too, but on the picture it looks like it's his fur. And then usually their tails are kind of white, I think. So then let's blend it out a little bit with this color maybe. I don't know. Calypso Coral. Oh, you know what I missed? Well, that's Cajun Craze. This is Cherry Cobbler. I missed the bottom of his bandana down here. So now let's see how this Tangerine Tango looks over the top of this one. That's a little better for me. So I'm just layering the colors of ink. And it gives you just a different color, but it's more what I wanted, more of a reddish. And then I want the inside of his ear to be a little more pinky. So I'm just trying to blend that a little bit. See how it works? It does blend a little if you need it to. And then I'm thinking I might take this peach color and a blending pen. Where is my blending tool? This is what happens when you have too many things in your roundy. Nope, that's not it. Well, oh, here. Yes. I'm going to take my blending pen and I'm going to pick up a little bit of this Peekaboo Peach and just kind of go around his eye. And his tail. There we go. And then his shirt, I still need to paint that or color that a color. And we're working with pink here. So maybe I'll go with like oh, maybe I'll do like a light blue. I think this is sky blue, soft sky. Alrighty, and then I think I'm going to take like this crumb cake and color his buttons. And then I'm going to take the black. I'm just going to draw over his eyes. And nose, and whiskers, and his mouth. Just to crisp that up a little bit. And then I think I'm going to take my Blushing Bride. Oops. And I'm going to go around the edge just a little bit with this marker. And I'm going to take Pear Pizzazz. And I'm going to give him a little something to stand on here. So he's not just walking on air. And I might take my blending pen and just blend that throughout just a little bit. Just like that. Now I can put him on top here. Isn't that cute? Already super cute. So then I want a little bit of something something on the outside of here. And you could do whatever you wanted. If you wanted to do words, or if you wanted to do packages, or you could even cut designer series paper to fit there. Whatever you want. I think I am going to do words. And you know what? I might do some packages too. I'm not sure. I like the hip hip hooray. That's cute. And I like the island indigo. And you can make it so that these are upside down so that they're all doing that. But because I know that this card is going to be read right side up, I prefer to leave it so that I am putting my stamps so that the person can still read them. But do whatever you want. And then I think I will take the cherry cobbler. He's holding a little. That's cute. You know what I'm going to do? Ooh, I think this will be cute. I'm going to take this string to make it look like he's holding something. And I'm going to take my black stamp this balloon right like that, so he's holding it. Oops, put it back the wrong way. And then I'm going to take the balloon and I'm going to use my Memento ink. And a piece of Scrap Whisper White. Then let's see. So that one's going to go here. I'm going to die cut that out and I'll put it here. And then I think I'm going to do the other ones. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the other ones. Oh, I want to still use the balloon. But I'm going to use cherry cobbler ink. And I'm just going to put some balloons around like this. Oh, that's cute. And then I'm going to put one inside too. Okay, we'll clean that off. And I'm gonna put birthday greetings. Oh, this is going to be cute, cute. So then, let's put this back. Let's close this up. I was going to get out my die cut to cut this, but I think I'm just going to cut it, fussy cut it, because it's just going to be just as easy. And then I don't have to get out the big shot. I'm going to take out my markers again. I'm going to use the cherry cobbler, which I believe is this one. And I'm just going to color this. And then while I have my markers out, I'm taking my fine tip of the black and I'm going to kind of mimic what they did here. They did little curls. And then it just went down like that. And this isn't going to be hard at all to fussy cut, so I'm just going to fussy cut this one. Maybe with just a little bit of white showing. Or maybe with none. It kind of is going with none. My scissors have a whole new idea. And I'm going to take one pop dot, put it on the back of this. And then this is, oh, you know what? I should put it way at the top. Because I want this to show over this, but I want it to just stick to the top part. Oh, is that going to work? Oh no, I want it to just stick to the bottom part. There we go. Alright, so here is our card. Hip hip hooray! And you can open it up and it says birthday greetings. Isn't that cute? And we just did that super fast, super easily. Once you have the cut down, it's so easy to do it. Just be careful, because I get this red ink all over me, and then I get it on my card. I do it sometimes with the black too. I think it's because I'm using the little baby block instead of my big block, which I should be using, so just be cautious of that. This holds your fingers and doesn't get your fingers in it. This one's kind of hard to grip, and you kind of get your fingers closer to the thing, so just be careful of that. I like that block because it's easy to store in my scrub pad, whereas the other one, it's too thick to store in here. I can't close it. So if I store this one, it makes it nice, but then I run that risk. So I leave this one out so I can use it, but I often forget. So, and then I get ink on my card. But again, I think sometimes it's nice for people to know that it's handmade. I think that's part of the interest and makes it exciting and fun. So yay, here is card number 3. I love this set. Now, if you wanted to, you could do the same thing like they did here with the little banner. You could even take your little die cuts and cut out the little fox. He would cut out perfectly, and you could use him as your card if you didn't want to color him. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to actually color him and see how I did actually. And I think he turned out pretty cute. I think it's pretty darn cute. I like it. So there you go. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this, and if you would like to purchase anything, I do sell Stampin' Up. My shop is open 24/7. It's listed down below, TT.Scraps at stampinup.net. Just go to the homepage and then hit shop now, and it'll take you right to it. If you have any questions, let me know. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, and I'd love for you to be a subscriber. Thank you so very much. I appreciate all of you. Bye-bye.